Well, hello and good evening and welcome to a very special program called Predicta, only on NewsX, powered by 1xBet. In yesterday's IPL fixture, Sunrisers Hyderabad clinched a thrilling victory over Punjab Kings 11 by a narrow margin of 2 runs. Yes, as we go along, the finishes are getting very tight and the margin is getting lower. Well, that's important. Hyderabad was playing like a big team on the effect, and they couldn't finish the chase successfully. Nitish Kumar Reddy's stellar performance earned him the Player of the Match title for a significant contribution with both bat and ball. Today, let's turn our attention in today's encounter. Rajasthan Royals and Gujarat Titans are gearing up for a face-off at Savai Mansingh Stadium in Jaipur, Rajasthan. Sitting comfortably at the top of the points table with an unbeaten streak in the 4 matches, they all look with the carry forward the winning momentum. However, history favours Gujarat, having won 4 out of their 5 encounters against Rajasthan in the pre-waiver IPL season, with both teams eyeing a crucial win. The stage is set for an electrifying clash between the two sides, and we have a galaxy of our guests today. Paul Dinette, cricket journalist from Australia; Terry Blake, former commercial director of ECB; Sutherland Vishwanath, the man with the golden gloves who got India the very famous victory, the first of its kind outside India. It was in 1985. Stanley Chiozza, the former Zimbabwean cricketer and now a coach. Well, welcome all. I'd like to go on straight to Sutherland Vishwanath. Sutherland, playing at home, how important is it and how easy is it for a home team to play at home? Sutherland Vishwanath, if you can hear us, welcome to the show.
Yep. Loud and clear. Good evening.
Good evening, Sutherland.
Sunil, good evening, Terry. Good evening, Stanley. Good evening, Paul. Good evening to all the viewers all over the world. And happy Eid Mubarak to all my Muslim brethren. Yeah, I mean, playing at home, especially the franchise tournaments, you have a huge support from the crowd. Now, that is really something that can motivate any team, especially the RCB boys. Have you seen the crowd in RCB?
Yes.
And Chennai also has a sea of yellow. Yeah, the home support is thrilling and exciting. And also the test matches, when you play test cricket in England, when you play test cricket in Australia, when you play test cricket in the subcontinent.
Right.
I mean, every team has a huge fan following. Yeah, it's great to play at home. And you also have the pitch conditions favoring you. That's a very important point. And that's why sometimes the ICC might bring in a rule to do away with the toss and just leave it to the opposing captain to choose. I mean, that might happen. But that's just
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah,
Terry,
yes.
Terry, this is something I've never heard before. I mean, just take us through. If this were to happen, how would it help the person losing the toss? Just take us through.
Well, I have heard of it before. I think often on the back of a bad series, a 5-match series lost in Test cricket.
Yes.
One might think that someone like Nasser Hussain kept losing tosses, and we would think of anything to try and get some evenness back into the contest. But in the end, I don't think it would work. I think you have to have the toss. I also think that in the IPL in particular, or T20 in particular, the toss is always going to be less important than it might be perhaps in a longer form of the game. So I wouldn't really back it. Just going back to what Sadnan says about home advantage, of course, that's true in general. But I remember, certainly for a while, and it still holds today, a lot of visiting teams would like to visit Lords and play their cricket there.
Yes.
Not least because it's the home of cricket and it's a wonderful ground to play at. Also because the Lord's crowd is notoriously quieter than any other ground in England. And sometimes the gentle buzz actually helps the away team rather than the home team, who are used to the more boisterous Edgbaston or Headingley. So it's quite a nuanced situation, the home advantage.
Well, absolutely. If you've seen India-Pakistan match at Manchester, the World Cup 2019, then you would know what boisterous means in England, outside, and when England is not playing. I mean, it was a different game altogether. And certainly, you have a whole lot of matches that are coming up in England. And as we speak in IPL, there are independent franchisees that are working together to do a tournament there. But, well, that's for a different day altogether. Today's match, Mr. Stanley Chiozza, welcome to the show. What do you make of the bowling of the two teams? Because here we have a very interesting stats here. Trent Bolt has taken the most number of wickets in power play, which is 46, followed by Deepak Chahar of CSK, Mohammad Shami at 42, Mohammad Siraj at 25, Arshdeep Singh at 23. Now, the question is, when a bowler like Trent Bolt is on a song, how does the opposition make their mindset, playing style, and do they only concentrate on the 14 overs? Your views?
Well, it's T20 cricket, okay? The fact that Trent Bolt is taking wickets, you don't want to heavily think of that. You don't want to, because if you do think about it, you end up going with the reserved mindset into a game. So you just got to back your processes at the end of the day. I mean, these teams nowadays with analysis, they come up with all sorts of plans, perhaps batting outside the crease to curtail the swing, which is got, or bat deep inside the crease if you feel comfortable that way. But at the end of the day, you don't want to go in with a reserved mindset, because the power play is probably one of the better positions to bat if you're a batsman. It's with those two fielding restrictions put in place. But I don't think this contest will be judged by a seam alone, because the Titans have got a good spin attack with regards to Rashid Khan, and then you've got Noor Ahmed. Let's not take Noor Ahmed out of the equation. He has been brilliant with the economy rate of 7.16. He's actually the best, with Rashid Khan actually struggling with only 5 wickets in 5 matches. So yeah. I think Noor Ahmed will play a big part in this one as well if Titans are to succeed.
Well, if Titans have to succeed, Rashid Khan has to up his game. Umar Zai, of course, who's number 4 in the bowling order. But the interesting fact here, and I'd like to get Paul Dinette. Paul, you have 2 of the aging old war horse in Mohit Sharma, who's taken 7 wickets in this IPL with a strike rate of 16, and Umesh Yadav with 6 wickets, 5 innings, and the strike rate of 14. What do you make of him and the Yorker, in-dipping Yorker of Ishant Sharma, the controlled bowling of Bhuvneshwar Kumar? What is this happening? I mean, where is the script? Who's writing the script?
Well, the writing of the scripts in the IPL continues to be wonderful. I mean, the game last night I thought was superb. Yeah, Umesh Yadav, he's a fantastic bowler, but he has been very expensive in this tournament so far. I do think, though, that it comes down as far as for Gujarat, that they need to get some more explosiveness in their actual batting. And I want to put out a controversial thing that they need to drop Kane Williamson, wonderful player that he is. And I don't want to be promoting Aussies too much, because we know that they haven't performed so well in this tournament. But I think it's time to bring the Aussie in, Matthew Wade, as keeper, and kick Kane Williamson out of the side with great regret.
Well, that's a big statement. Sadanand Vishwanath, we're talking about keeping and a controversial statement. What do you think of it? Sadanand Vishwanath, if you can. Well, Stanley Chiozza, do you want to take this controversial statement made by a friend? Paul Dinette.
Well, look, I think I agree with Paul. Okay, I think Matthew Wade has got the explosiveness that's required for up the order, especially when you do find yourself coming in early. I think Matthew Wade is a brilliant replacement for Kane Williamson. And I mean, just to bring something else in the spanner here, I mean, this IPL 2024 is quite special indeed, in that we all know 6 days after the 26th, it's the T20 World Cup coming in. So lots and lots of players, especially overseas players, find themselves under pressure cooker in this tournament. Lots of let's not take that away. I mean, lots of these overseas players are looking to make sure that they use this IPL to prepare for that T20 tournament. And then again, we've got these overseas players. I mean, teams are preparing for that tournament. They're going to be leaving the IPL. So it's interesting how the makeup of these teams then come in mind, especially with regards to Tanmay's statement to say, look, in any IPL team, you need the core of Indian players. So once these overseas players get to leave and go represent their nations, it's going to be an interesting IPL all of a sudden.
Well, absolutely. Interesting IPL all of a sudden. Well, Stanley made a very interesting comment here that it's not about, and I'd like to take this request, Sadanand Vishwanath, if his technology is better, to come in. Yuzvendra Chahal is at 8 wickets. This is for Rajasthan Royals. The Berger is with 6 wickets. Trent Bolt, 5 wickets. He's at number 3. And at number 4 is Avesh Khan with just 2 wickets. Now my question to Sadanand Vishwanath is, we've already spoken about the emergence of leg spinner, how they are attacking bowlers. You've seen in your stardom how you catapulted L. Shivaramakrishnan to the greatness and the greatest heights India, and India was benefited out of it. Tell me, Yuzvendra Chahal is at the top of the ranks at Rajasthan Royals. Do you think letting go of Chahal by RCB was the biggest blow for them and not retaining him? Your views?
Certainly. Letting go of using Chahal was a big blow for RCB. Remember, he was with us for 8 seasons, and then to suddenly let him go. He too was heartbroken. So then Chahal was heartbroken. He had his heart set upon playing for RCB. Yeah, we all miss him. We also miss Hathura Singh. We miss a lot of players, the RCB players who have always left the RCB camp, have somehow done well in the other franchises. But anyway, I still have hopes of RCB bouncing back, like how MI fought back and had a fantastic win. But you're right. Chahal right now has a great combo with Ashwin.
Yes.
And they both are delivering the goods for Rajasthan Royals. Rajasthan Royals are doing well in all the departments, especially the bowling. Trent Bolt inevitably picks up a wicket in his first over.
Yes.
I think he has the record. He's done that 14 times.
Yes.
So coming back to Chahal and the art of wrist spin, he's a match winner all the way. And yeah, I'm sure that Rajasthan Royals will never ever let him go.
Well, absolutely. Rajasthan Royals will never let him go. But at the same time, I'd like to get an English pen here. Another interesting fact that comes out today is that Trent Bolt has done really well. But at the same time, you've got 2 Englishmen who've got the most ducks in IPL. Top of the table is Joss Butler at 5 and Ian Morgan at number 2 with 4 ducks. Now, what do you make of a team where you have Trent Bolt who's just speeding in, taking wickets after wicket, and you have Joss Butler who's just letting go of things? Do you think Englishmen take time to heat up, especially in the summer of India? They take time?
Well, I mean, you might say that. I mean, Joss Butler, you could see the pleasure he got from getting 100.
Yes.
Going back to an earlier comment about getting into form before the ICC T20, he looked really pleased to come good in the last match, where he outscored or outpaced Kohli to win that match. Interesting today, Rashid Khan. Butler has never hit a 4 or a 6 off Rashid Khan. I find that an incredible stat. And maybe that will change today if Butler maintains his form. I think the other worry for the Gujarat Titans today is that Jaiswal hasn't come good in this tournament. Imagine if he and Butler both fire together. I think it was the home coach who said it's more of a worry for the other team that Jaiswal is going to fire soon. It's hard. It would be hard not to back the home team today. But on the other hand, you can't go on winning match after match after match. We've never had an unbeaten run in the IPL. So maybe today's the day when the Royals trip up. We don't know.
Well, talking about 6s and 4s, the most number of 6s in IPL is... at number 1 is Klassen with 17 6s, 5 innings. Abhishek Sharma at 16. Puran at 15 he's at number 3. Number 4 is Stubbs with 14 6s and joined 6s by Sunil Narayan at number 4. Incidentally, we don't see anyone from Gujarat or the Rajasthan Royals in the top 5 hitting 6s. Is it a new phenomena that is coming in, rotating of the strikes and not going in for explosive? Paul Dinet, do you think somewhere the concept of T20 is being changed?
Well, maybe with these teams, but I think that the rest of the IPL, the concept is more and more audacious every year, and more sixes. I think that Abhishek Sharma, there was a stat that up until last season, he used to hit a six once every 25 balls. This season, he's hitting a six once every 6 balls, which is scarcely believable. I think that to take up Terry's point, that Rajasthan are 4 from 4 and looking superb when, you know, players like Jaiswal and prior to the last game, Butler hadn't yet hit their stripes. And so I think what they have done so well is just have had such a consistent bowling lineup. You mentioned how Yuzvendra Chahal has the best economy rate, but all of them have good economy rates. There's not a single bowler who's bowled a decent number of overs for them who has an economy rate anywhere above 9. So I think that's the consistency of their bowling lineup is what has got them the win so far. And if their batting starts to fire even more, then look out.
Well, interesting. We're talking about the batting strike rate as well. The top of the table is Romaria Shepherd with 337.50, Lamore with 238, Andre Russell at 212, Abhishek Sharma, the very interesting point you made, from every 30 deliveries, he's shifted to every 6 deliveries, hitting a 6 outside the rope, and Ashutosh Sharma at 200. Paul Dinette, we don't find any World Cup winning Aussies here in the list of high scoring. What we find...
I was waiting for that. Maybe if Matthew Wade gets a go tonight, that'll change. What I will say is that you make the point around Ashutosh Sharma, and he and Shashtik Singh last night again illustrate my point that some of these big hitters need to come in early, that they almost got the job done in that chaotic final over. If they got in there a little bit earlier, maybe they would have got the win.
Absolutely. Southern Vishwanath, when we look at the matchups between the skipper, facts, figures, everything is we keep it aside, just talk about the mind games. You have Shubman Gill, who's just walked into the big shoes, and there you have Sanju Samson, who understands the game. He's been in the role, he's led at the junior level, he's not playing for India, but he knows how to rule the game when it comes to taking the team to the next level. Sutherland Vishwanath, my question is, what is the matchup between the skipper, Shubman Gill, a newcomer, and Sanju Samson, the old guard?
Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Sanju Samson has been on a roll. His team has delivered. All his frontline batsmen, most of his bowlers have delivered the goods. Whereas for Shubman Gill, in spite of leading from the front, his middle order has faltered. His bowlers too have not bowled well in the deck. Shubman Gill has got the experience of captaining the India under-19 team.
Yes.
And yes, but leading a franchise team with some great international names is not easy.
Sutherland, forgive me for interrupting. But my question is very pointed. Do you think a newcomer will take less chances as compared to the old guard who knows when to take chances, and even if something goes wrong, he knows how to make it right?
Well, sometimes the folly of youth, sometimes the experienced campaign works. So you never know. So I think Shubman Gill knows which way the bread is buttered. He knows where to make the right moves at the right time. And if Matthew Wade is given a chance today, and he comes in and strikes some explosive blows, you could see perhaps Gujarat Titans upset the apple cart. Absolutely. But I will say, as far as stats is concerned, the first 5 teams who are on the top of the table all have a plus run rate. And the bottom 5 teams who are languishing at the bottom
just
all have a minus.
Elaborate on that point, Sutherland. Very interesting point you're making. Just take our fans through it in a little more detail. Yes.
Yeah, look, we were both talking, Sunil, how important it is. Absolutely right. If Virat Kohli is there, strikes at 150 and carries us back through, nothing wrong with that at all.
Absolutely.
It's the middle order who have to strike at 160 or 170 or 180. And then at the deck, at the finish, you go gung-ho, you go hammer and tong, and most of the batters who are batting at the deck, they probably strike even over 200. And somebody like Shepherd did it, he took the strike rate up to 300. So the strike rate is very important.
Yes.
And coming back to what I was talking about, it clearly shows, it clearly amplifies in the stats.
Right.
The top 5 teams, Sunil, they all have a plus run rate. So that's the story. That's why they're in the top 5.
Very interesting point you make. But also there's, in my stats, there's something very interesting which has come up, is we always look at the top 4 players, and you have Riyan Parag, Sanju Samson for Rajasthan Royals. Number 3, Joss Butler, who just hit a century and has made a comeback. And guess who's at number 4? With 45 runs, it's R. Ashwin. And he's not making a cut at the bowler's park, but he's making a formidable thing with his contribution with his bat at number 4. Just imagine if Butler hadn't hit that century, he would still be languishing at number 5 or 6 in the top Rajasthan Royals. So the point here is that is coming out is that most bulk of the score is done by Paul Dinette. Most of the bulk of the scoring in Rajasthan Royals is done by Sanju Samson and Riyan Parag. Do you think it's a danger when it comes to what Sutherland has raised the point, saying that the bulk of the scoring should actually come at the middle and the end overs? Your views, Paul Dinette?
Well, I think it's only a danger if you're losing. And as I said before, the fact that they've got 4 from 4, despite not everyone firing, is very much to their credit. And I think Ashwin's an underrated batter. I harken back to so many times when he comes out in test matches when India are 206 and he scores
I hope you know the records.
60 and puts it straight to the sword.
I hope you know the Ashwin's records against the Australia, especially in test.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
it's unbelievable.
Go on, Sutherland.
Actually, what I meant was you need to have a good start, and then you need to consolidate through the middle overs.
Yes.
And then you've got to light it up at the deck.
Absolutely.
You've got to keep striking. Yeah. So you've got to have that launching pad.
Yes.
Launching pad. I'm very happy for Riyan Parag. And I'm also very proud that the Rajasthan Royals franchise, especially Kubal Sangakkara,
yes,
they have had so much of faith with Riyan Parag. The first 3 seasons, they played him in the death overs. They played him at the finish. But now they've brought him at number 4. And he showed that maturity, he showed that class. I've known Riyan Parag ever since he was 16 or 17 when he was playing for Assam. And that's the time when I saw him exhibit his class. I knew that here is a match winner, not just for Assam, but perhaps might become a match winner for the Indian team someday.
Lovely.
So that's my feeling with Riyan Parag.
Well, these are small anecdotes which are very important to us. But I'm going to start the wheel from Paul Dinette, go on to Terry Blake, Stanley Chiozza, and end up with Sutherland Vishwanath. Now, this is our cricket predictor. 30 seconds you get. Paul Dinette, who's going to be the impact player in today's match? And who are you predicting to be the winner in today's contest?
I'm predicting Rajasthan to win without much confidence. I think that if Gujarat are to win, it has to be Rashid Khan or Noor Ahmed. But if I'm going to predict a player that's going to have the biggest impact, I'm going to, I'm not happy about it, but I'm going to stick with Joss Butler. I think that he's on a roll. I think he's a fantastic player. And, I don't like tipping an Englishman to do well, but that's my tip.
Well, that's typical Australian who has a reservation about an English player being in the top of his list. But for the fans, Paul Dinette is actually what Ashwin is to batting, Paul Dinette is to predictions. Takes time, but he gets once in 10 right. Terry Blake, what's your prediction for today?
Yeah, I'm going with the home team. I think there's too much uncertainty amongst the Gujarat Titans. We're not sure about David Miller's availability.
Yes.
We're not sure about Ridham Sahar's availability. Whereas the Royals seem to be fairly settled.
Yes.
I'm going to go for the Royals, and I'm going to go for Jaiswal to come good as the player of the match.
Absolutely. Jaiswal is what we're looking at. Stanley Chiozza, what's your prediction for today?
Well, for starters, I'm going with the Rajasthan Royals once again, like Paul and Terry Black. And for one reason alone. That man for me, Sanju Samson. Okay, he's been dismissed once by Rashid Khan in 13 innings, scoring 111 runs and 96 balls. I think he has a method, should he come out of the power play, to playing Rashid Khan. And I think playing spin, especially when you've got 2 quality spinners in that Titans team, is going to be key on this surface. It's a good surface. It's a high-scoring surface. 180 plus has been scored over 4 times out of 6 innings. And I think Sanju Samson playing spin is going to be key on this one.
Well, absolutely. Very interesting point. Stanley always comes out with his pearls. But let's go to the old fox, the man who's played at the highest level, Sutherland Vishwanath. We wrap the show with you, but before, just give your prediction, your thoughts, your analysis, and then we wind up the show.
Okay, let me try.
Try.
Well, 3-on-3, all you three boys have backed the Rajasthan Royals.
Yes.
And me too. My team is Rajasthan Royals. And the player to look out for today is Josh Butler, once again. Because he has made his mind up. He has become more mentally strong. You know, when he scored 13 runs in the previous game, he knew that he's back in nick. He knew that he's in good nick. And he produced a masterclass of batting, and he bowled up a fantastic 100. So that is class, and Josh Butler is Josh the boss. So I say impact here, Josh the boss, and my team to win is Rajasthan Royals, 5-5.
Absolutely. Well, you've got somehow the focus tilting towards the Rajasthan Royals, but it's just the boss, which is a unanimous decision by the panel. And very rarely you get an Aussie rooting for an Englishman. But that's what is happening on our show. I thank all my guests today for talking candidly, talking about stats, facts, anecdotes.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.